Welcome to this week's episode of Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters, the podcast we chart the cinematic legacy of the classic monsters. I'm John Campbell. With me, as always, Brendan Jones.
John! I need to put out a, what would this be? A PSA, some sort of announcement to our listeners at the top of the show.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I can get this to go like an actual alert onto everyone's smartphones. But please let it be known, this is not the worst film we've ever seen.
No.
And then, underneath, be aware, alert, this is not the worst of the Howling films.
No, but it's certainly not the best either.
No, but I mean, we were both of us very trepidatious. This is not good, but I will say this.
Oh Lord, no.
We were afraid of the continuing slide. So this is a slight bump. This did not.
Slight is key there. Yes.
Yeah, this is a slight bump up, and so I was. I'm not saying I liked it.
Tiny little bump. Oh no.
No,
Lord, no. This is pretty bad. We are talking about the Howling 6, the Freaks.
Oh, they are so freakish.
Oh, this movie is freaky, man. Freaky deaky. Woo!
Indeed.
Yes, Howling 6, the Freaks. I was talking to somebody about this, and I go, about this podcast, I go, this franchise is just haunting us. Every time we think we're done with these movies, like, what? There's another one? We're going to somehow find out that there's like 20 more of these movies we didn't even know about. I'm just waiting for it.
Oh, God. Where would they have even been filmed? Or just on people's phones, do you think, at some point?
These movies are just magically appearing, I think, at a certain point, because...
who's the guy that took over the whole franchise and bowed out for this one?
What is that guy's name?
Is it Clive something?
It's something British, and I think it is Clive. I
can't remember.
Yeah, Clive.
But I can only imagine that he's he's still alive, and he's probably he's probably trying to get another one off the ground now.
Look, I'm just saying we could use another Clive Turner.
Clive Turner, there you go.
I don't know, maybe find a new way into the Howling franchise. Well, we'll get to that eventually. Howling. We're going to get to that eventually. We'll get through 7, and then there's a long gap before 8 is like the attempt to bring it back in the 2000s.
Right. Oh, boy. Well.
I can't remember if that one is called Howling Reborn, but there's stuff like that.
No, it is. I mean, I'll say this. I do understand that if you are the owner of an IP, of a franchise, you're going to keep, especially if you're not like a corporation, because every now and then you find something. I always bring up Condé Nast, who just sit there on top of Doc Savage in the shadow and seem to, like, every 20 years try to get something off the ground.
Hey, what is
your problem?
What are we talking about, Brandon? We just had that big hit, best-selling James Patterson novel rebooting The Shadow, right? I didn't even read it, man. I was gonna read it, and then I read the reviews and went, nope, this isn't The Shadow. Well, it's not The Shadow.
I read reviews and I read a breakdown of it, and I'm just like, when you have The Shadow turning into animals,
that's not The Shadow.
I'm out.
That's Manimal, sir. That is not The Shadow.
That's Manimal, sir. And will I read James Patterson's Manimal novel? I will.
Actually, I would love to read James Patterson's Manimal novel. Non-ironically. I think that'd be pretty fascinating, actually.
I could see that working because he's basically a James Patterson character that can also turn into animals.
And if anyone read James Patterson's Zoo, he can do animal attacks, I did read James Patterson's Zoo. It's not bad.
In the case of Clive Turner, I think that it makes sense that he's the guy sitting on the Howling franchise, and he's not going to let it drop. Why not? And each one has probably made some money.
Yes.
Money.
It has to, right? Otherwise, why would they keep making them?
Yeah, but it's just ridiculous
they also
how far
keep
they drag this out.
Spending less money on each of them, clearly. So
yes,
because boy, oh boy, this is still. I wouldn't say the budget has improved much on this one.
No, and the makeup budget really got.
Oh God! Oh my God! The makeup in this is atrocious.
This is the worst werewolf I've ever seen.
It's a pretty bad vampire.
Literally,
too.
ever.
Pretty bad vampire.
The vampire, at least, I mean, I don't like that as a design, but
I think maybe that's more what I'm reacting to, yeah.
Yeah, that at least is like a fully formed makeup, and what they've done with the werewolf is literally just some weird cheekbones, and some fangs, and then a literal long black wig they just stuck on the guy's head.
Everybody go on the IMDb for this movie because you can see a very well lit picture of what the makeup looks like. And it is bad. It's mostly like eye makeup, a lot of heavy eyeliner, some big bushy eyebrows. And then, most of the wig is doing most of the work.
And what they have done with it is taken away, and I understand it's probably a budgetary thing, but there's nothing wolf-like in the face at all.
No, you know what it almost reminds me of is getting close to like Lon Chaney's Hunchback a little bit. It's
a little bit.
It's more in that mold than it is in a wolf.
And it also looks a little bit like that creature that Lou Ferrigno fought in The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, the proto Hulk thing. Yeah, that he fights. What is it? I can't remember that guy's name. Oh God.
Oh, who played him? Wasn't that
Dick DeRock? Dick DeRock. Who was Swamp Thing. Yeah. Love that guy.
Love that guy.
Yeah.
Got no problems with that guy.
No problems with that guy.
Dick DeRock.
Oh boy. I mean, right. Let's talk about the poster because I think the poster is perfectly indicative of what we're talking about. Number one, is this even the makeup from this movie? Like it looks. I mean, I think it's just lit differently to make it.
Oh no,
seem...
it is the makeup from the movie, but they have done this red filter, which actually, and all we're seeing is the eyes.
Yeah.
So they are hiding the makeup.
I feel like each poster for a Howling movie shows less of the wolf.
Yeah. Especially since the previous two had basically just the non-moving mask thing.
Right.
So they did a lot of hiding that in the shadows because it can't move its mouth or anything.
Yeah, exactly. So
this is very boring poster. Just the werewolf eyes.
I will say, not to be spoilery, but I will just say this continues with the next movie's poster is just a drawing of a wolf at that point.
Perfect.
I feel like that was the natural place for it to go, right? It's like eventually we're not even going to show what's in the movie. We'll just draw a wolf. So it's just the eyes of the wolf, and he I don't know, he looks kind of sad to me. He's going like, please see the movie. That would really be good for me and the family.
This movie, on the page, I say that a lot, as far as its concept, it actually is trying something.
Yes?
We have a sympathetic werewolf lead.
Mm-hmm.
Sympathetic in quotes. Because the writing doesn't do much for you. But
I would say sympathetic through ill definition. Like, they don't have him do anything bad, therefore he is sympathetic.
Right. Sympathetic werewolf lead, and for its time, a daring crossover attempt. Basically, this is what I was trying to do with my script from a million years ago. It's vampire versus werewolf. We actually have a monster mash here.
Which I am always on board for. Always on board for that.
But is this wasted and done terribly?
God, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And actually, this one had, for the first time in a while in a Howling movie, that I know some of the actors in it.
Yeah. If this movie has any kind of saving grace.
Yeah.
Because this is not well written or directed.
No, and it is excruciatingly boring. I would say that overall, more than the poor quality is, I found it just so hard to sit through.
Yeah, but they actually, I would guess, spent some money on getting some decent actors who we know of.
Huggy Bear is in this movie.
And he's playing a fully realized character that doesn't get a lot of screen time.
No.
But Antonio Fargas.
I wanted more of him. He was better than most of the other people and things in the movie. I wanted more of him in this movie. I love Antonio Fargas.
And this is our second go-around on our podcast with Miss Carol Lindley.
Yes.
Though she gets very little to do in this movie.
Very sad. Very sad that she doesn't get anything to do in this movie.
But she was Gail Foster in The Night Stalker TV movie.
Yeah. We love her. I mean, she's in one of my favorites.
Deep Roy.
I was thrilled to see Deep Roy. I love Deep Roy.
This is... not early-ish, but still early. Kind of.
And I think before people have really discovered Deep Roy.
Yeah,
particularly
the joy that is
particularly Tim Burton, right? Really, I think really brought this guy to the forefront.
Weirdly, in Tim Burton's case, I have a feeling that similar to the way the three wise men saw a star to let them know that Christ had been born.
Yeah,
I have a feeling that Tim Burton had some sort of celestial event to let him know that Deep Roy had entered the world. So,
yes. I will use him.
I will find him and use him.
Looks like the first time they worked together was in Tim Burton's worst movie, 2001's Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That is
the worst movie he's made. And I know I'm already hearing people yelling about the Alice in Wonder. No, I'll take that all day over the 2001 Planet of the Apes, which is atrocious. And also the least...
Agreed.
I think one of the bigger reasons, also the least Burton-y. It really doesn't even feel like a Burton movie in a lot of ways, which is...
That is just a paycheck cash.
Yeah. I was excited for that. Really disappointed.
In this movie, I did not know him by name, but the man playing our main villain...
Bruce Payne!
Yeah, but the movie doesn't deserve him.
Yes.
In other words, he's not amazing, but he really does deliver.
Bruce Payne is a real B movie kind of, like, I love this guy. He, as a child.
I know Passenger 57. I know that's probably one of your favorites.
57 is a favorite of mine, in which he plays famed terrorist Charles Rain, a.k.a. the Reign of Terror. The only hope for the people on this flight is the man in seat 57. I love Passenger 57, but also he will gain a cult following as the Wishmaster.
Right.
Or the Warlock, not Wishmaster. I get those confused. The Warlock.
Oh, wait, Warlock isn't that?
Oh no, wait, is he in both?
Well, no, I was about to say, but isn't Warlock, isn't that Julian Sands?
Yeah. Wait, he might be both. He might be in both then. Let's see here.
Well, let's not have a fight. Not on the air.
He is in
Dude,
Warlock
he was
3.
even in Absolute Beginners.
Never mind. He's in Warlock 3 is what I'm thinking of.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. He's also the bad guy in the fourth Highlander. I mean, this guy, I'm not here to say this guy's like a great actor because he does a lot of kind of schlock, but he is one of those guys who elevates schlock that he's in. He gives it
right.
as he tries in this movie.
He's better than the material, but probably is never going to and never has, gotten A-list stuff. I'd say he reminds me of a Jeffrey Combs.
Yes. Who I also
in other
love.
words, someone who's genuinely good,
yeah,
but is in their lane. In their lane, they're a god.
Yes, and when they show up to comic conventions, they are, welcomed as rock stars.
So this movie did luck out in the fact that it has.
I know. I was very excited
actors.
When I saw him in the opening credits. I went, "Oh well, he'll be good."
And he was.
He's pretty good. He's very entertaining. He's doing everything he can.
Everything he can is exactly the thing.
What does not help?
There's a lot of weight on his shoulders.
What does not help is the complete bore of our leading man. An absolute snooze. This guy.
Even though he shares my name, I cannot.
Good Lord, I hated this guy.
Brendan Hughes. Yeah.
You're in trouble when the lead actor in the movie doesn't even have an IMDb profile picture. That's not good.
I'm still blown away that he was actually Werewolf in American Werewolf in London.
Could you believe it? The title character.
I'm betting he was probably one of the ones in the nightmare thing.
Yeah, I bet. Uncredited werewolf. Yeah, I think that's...
And I have seen the vampire film To Die For, in which he plays Vlad Tepes.
Yes.
Which is a very bad 80s updating of Dracula.
We skipped that one. That one went through the cracks there.
Well, That's true, actually. It's one that we probably could have done.
Even
though
talked
they never
about
say Dracula, it's clearly an update of the novel.
And then I will say another one that went on and off the list is Sundown, the Vampire in Retreat.
Right. Yes.
But that's
that one too.
We kind of I think we kind of dubbed that one more of a spoof.
Yeah.
So that's why it didn't make the list. Although I would have loved to talk about because Bruce Campbell's in it, obviously.
Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, it's not anyone's finest hour though. But not a whole. This guy has worked here and there. He's in a couple episodes of Torchwood. Cool.
Yeah, I saw that. So I mean, the man has worked,
but not much. If you look, there's huge gaps between these appearances. And
yeah, starting out in Outland.
I love Outland, by the way. I'm so glad that Outland
I love
came
Outland in concept, in casting.
It's High Noon in Space with Sean Connery.
Right, but it's so boring. It's all about execution with that movie. I was so saddened that you have a great concept and you have a great actor in the lead, and it just is boring.
I mean,
I haven't High Noon in Space, but they botched it.
I haven't seen it in a while, but I do remember really liking it. That may be
all right. I'll get you the Blu-ray for your birthday.
There you go. I mean, look, I am also. I think as you, I'm just such a Connery nerd that I
know
will watch anything that guy's in. And it's talk about a guy who elevated
you don't have
anything.
To tell me because right behind you on the TV, you've got Family Business going right now.
I actually just bought one I've never seen, and that is The Offense, the Sidney Lumet movie. Have you seen this?
Oh, no.
It's a cop thriller from the 70s, directed by Sidney Lumet, with Sean Connery. I'd never heard of it, picked up a British release Blu-ray of it.
I have never heard of it either. A Lumet film from the 70s with Connery.
Yeah.
How could I not know this?
I thought the same thing. I haven't watched it yet. It just arrived the other day, so I will report back.
My life has been empty. I'm going to go commit suicide. It's been a pleasure, everybody.
And here we thought we were experts. I know. I too was like, okay, well, I got to see this. And it's spoken well of. It just seems to have kind of been forgotten by time.
Interesting.
Yeah. So,
well, you know what's not interesting
is this movie.
This movie.
Yeah. So this movie, the Howling 6, The Freaks. And
The Freaks.
There's something I did say to somebody. I'm watching Howling 6, The Freaks. Nightmare Alley, this is not. Good lord. Because I do love a freak show that has about 4 freaks.
Yep.
You gotta love that.
I love it. And a freak show that has 4 freaks. I love that when we see the arrival of the carnival in town, it is like 3 trailers long. And then it looks like it covers so much ground when it's set up. And I'm like, where were those rides?
Yeah.
When did those come into town?
Yeah.
Who set those up? Because literally, there seem to be 12 people associated with this carnival.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
No.
And there's also, they're coming to a town that only has about 8 people in
it. Yeah. And, all right, this is a long-running problem I have with movies, which is if you are trying to implicate a place as being Southern, it's going to take more than some really hackneyed community theater accents. And it's also going to can't shoot it. Yeah, you can't shoot it in Lancaster, California. It looks so California, but
it does.
But everyone's doing fucking Andy Griffith show accents in this movie. Literally, it looks like a parody.
Hi, Andy.
Do you know the show Exit 57, John?
I do. I mean, vaguely, yeah.
Well, that was the sketch comedy show by all these people that were Upright Citizens Brigade people before they took off. So it had Colbert.
That's right.
And it had Amy Sedaris.
Before they did the actual Upright Citizens Brigade show.
Right. But so it was like on MTV or something, and it was very funny. One of the skits they did was a parody of like Tennessee Williams plays. And it was sort of like a cat on the hot tin roof thing. And everyone's got the very dripping, syrupy accents, and they're constantly fanning themselves and going, "It's just so hot. Don't you find that
The Vipers.
I'm catching, and it's all about homoeroticism and lingering looks and everyone doing that accent.
Yeah.
That is this movie, but shot in California.
I have actually seen a community theater production of Cat on a Hot Tin Roof because I knew people involved in it, and man, that's a tough sit. That's a tough sit. My God.
What kind of man are you, Brick?
Yeah. Portland Community Theater doing Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. And a Big Daddy who had not memorized his lines and carried a Bible the whole thing like he was a preacher, which is weird, but only so he could clearly look at the script he'd stashed inside.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
I'll tell you what I think of you. Thumbs through the page.
But John, didn't you find it to be just so very hot?
It was so hot. I do love that movie, though. The movie.
Oh, great. Sure. And it is a great play. But
it's a great
you just
play.
have to see good people doing it.
Yeah,
anyway.
Yeah. Believe it or not, Paul Newman, pretty good.
But imagine. But this whole thing with once we get into the town, it is so lazy.
Yeah.
Because this is supposed to be contemporary. But they've decided that if you live in a small southern town, for some reason it's the 1950s.
Modern day hasn't gotten to the South yet.
Apparently not. And it's just...
It is. It's Mayberry when you bring up the Andy Griffith thing. It's any town, USA.
So you get jarred when you see like a 1990 Caprice or something parked because the sheriff drives like an old-timey car and the mayor drives an old-timey car, but they're using modern for the day telephones, and you're like, what are you doing? I hated the art direction and how they made this.
Well, this is another one like a lot of the kind of boring stuff. It was just very hard to like keep my attention on this thing because it really. I want to see what else comes.
You mean? Are you saying you weren't gripped by the opening? The opening.
I really wasn't.
We're in the dark woods.
Yeah. I mean, I will say the opening at least is like
young girl running from something that's chasing her in the dark woods, and she's holding a stuffed animal for some reason.
Yeah, just
so explained.
It is. I know. I actually that I will go with because I think she won it at the carnival.
Oh, you think that was a flash forward?
No, I think this is a victim of a different carnival, right? Isn't this? This is Bruce Payne because they talk about everywhere they go, somebody's killed. I think this is a prologue cold open.
John, you didn't. You put the pieces together. I didn't.
But I'll tell you, the stuffed animal is only there so it can fall to the ground to indicate she's dead.
Yes,
that's the real reason it's there. Can I bring up some other movies that came out around the same time here, Brendan, to tell you once again, as we do sometimes, tell you what you could have seen instead of this. Not that this got a theatrical release. Of course,
this was video.
This was video, but still, I can tell you what you could have seen in the theater at least.
Please tell me.
Before. So this is June of 91. Here are the big releases of June of 91. And you can tell me if you saw these, of course, Brendan. I mean, a game changer in cinema, Reservoir Dogs, comes out.
Oh, my God, was I in the theater for that.
Spike Lee's...
The buzz on it was crazy.
Yeah.
I had to go.
Spike Lee's Jungle Fever.
Saw it.
Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
Did not see it. Still haven't seen it.
Big hit, City Slickers.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
I saw that in the theater.
Huge smash. One of my favorites that we don't agree on, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
I saw it.
Comes out right
I mean,
there.
I went to the theater. I had hopes. My hopes were dashed on the rocks.
Love that movie. One of my favorites. And one we are both huge fans of that comes out the week after this, The Rocketeer.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah.
I saw that like 2 times or 3 times in the theater. It's not a perfect movie, but it's what I want. And I love the character. And I thought that Joe Johnston did as good a job as you could do with a Disney-fied version.
I mean,
and
like when they announced him for Captain America, I go, well, that's the man who made Rocketeer. This will be just fine.
That's exactly the same
And then finally, Naked Gun 2.5, The Smell of Fear comes out. So
saw that.
Lots of better movies you could have been watching instead of this.
And I did not see this until last night.
Yeah. Well, I think we've talked about the past Howling 2, I don't think I saw 3. I think it all kind of goes to hell after that. I don't think I was catching up with any of these. So
I mean, isn't it normal for for a somewhat intelligent viewer to go, "Oh, I'm done"?
Yeah.
You give them a chance, and actually, 2 was such a nightmare. I'm like, literally, this was the follow-up to a quasi-classic horror film, and this is the follow-up. Then we're on shaky ground already.
Yeah. That's the thing, is like 2 isn't good, but 2 looks better and better all the time to me, man. Which is really bad, really bad.
Which is saying something, because 2 doesn't even.
Yeah.
I mean, it has a story.
Yeah.
But it's just not good.
Can we say, though, that a definite sign of franchise trouble is the fact that this one is the first one for a while that doesn't have Clive Turner involved, and it's slightly better.
Slightly better.
But don't worry.
I think we're in for it.
Don't worry. He'll be back with Howling 7.
Oh,
which that is Howling New Moon Rising. They ditched the numbers after this one.
Yeah, they didn't want to call attention.
Well, after they'd butchered the franchise with Howling 6: The Freaks, I thought I had to come back to reclaim its glory. Yes, Clive Turner here. But this movie still is in canon because, did you see this? I didn't even notice her. But Cindy Lou, the character from the last movie, is in this film.
I believe it's Mary Lou.
Oh, is it Mary Lou?
Yeah.
I was thinking of, yes, you're right, it's Mary Lou. I was thinking of a little Cindy Lou Who for some reason.
Well, we had talked that we had talked about.
I do remember that,
the next
but then I thought, where is she in this? Well, she has a brief non-speaking cameo.
I did see it.
In the audience, but apparently the next movie will mention that she was at this freak show.
Right.
Making it clear that this is all connected.
Yeah. Well, thank God. Because her presence is so magnetic.
Well, I don't.
4 seconds she's in it.
While I don't approve of Halloween 6, I did feel we owed it to the fans to at least make it canon. So
yeah. Here's the thing. People felt the absence of Mary Lou. I think that was one of the great strikes against Howling 6.
Yeah, because it is one of those things where it's like, is that character here, or is that actress just doing a cameo? And now we also
she doesn't look much like she did. I mean,
I didn't notice her. I didn't even see her. Because I forgot about that until after it was done. I go, wasn't Mary Lou supposed to be in this?
There's a still of it somewhere I found online, because I thought that was where she was, and then I didn't want to have to rewind back to the movie. So a Google search, and I found a still that actually was.
Honestly, though, I can't wait for the next Howling movie where she goes, ever since I went to that circus with the freak show. Like, what, she's just going to toss that in?
Well, I assume that she was tracking one of her own. Mm-hmm. And she'll say that she was trying to pull back whatever. Ian. That's the character's name.
Oh, Ian.
Maybe
Ian
she
the
was
werewolf.
Trying to bring him into the werewolf fold or whatever. I don't know.
We get, instead, as our leading lady in this movie, we get Michelle Matheson.
And can I just say?
Yeah.
She's actually quasi-Hollywood royalty. As in, she is the daughter of Deanna Lund.
Yes.
Who, 60s TV actress.
Yes.
I know her from Land of the Giants. Look, I am old, but that was before my time. I just used to watch reruns of Land of the Giants.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And another actor named Don Matheson, who, character actor of the time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I just clicked on him here. And
guess
looks
what?
familiar.
He was in Land of the Giants.
He was in Land of the Giants, Lost in Space.
Yeah, Lost in Space. So he did plenty of that kind of stuff.
Falcon
but anyway,
Crest.
So she's an attractive young woman with good genes, and she is so bad.
Yes. I will say I did have a bit of a crush on her back when she was on Mr. Belvedere, though.
Oh, right. Yeah, I saw that on her IMDb, but I didn't really watch Mr. Belvedere.
I love me some Mr. Belvedere.
She was one of the kids, I guess.
She was the older daughter on there, and she was very cute on that show. So
yeah, but here's the thing.
That's not the equivalent of this. I mean, that's
right.
not
if
like...
I were to go back and watch Mr. Belvedere,
which everyone should, obviously.
Yeah, my guess is that her voice was exactly the same in this.
Yes,
because literally, they are trying to play up that she's young, like she's like the 19 or 20-year-old daughter or whatever, but she sounds like she's 14, and the way she talks is all like, "I've never kissed a boy before."
Yeah, which
I was like, good Lord,
that's fine on Mr. Belvedere, where she actually is a teenager on the show.
But no, this was literally werewolf jailbait in this movie.
Yeah, so all this stuff, and the fact that she's like the preacher's daughter. Yeah, it just further adds to this weird. Once again, we are getting into like Tennessee Williams kind of.
Yes, exactly.
She's the slutty, or she's the good girl that you want a piece of.
They really are trying to. The writers really are trying to. I think Leonard Maltin in his review, because I think or maybe it was.
There's something funny to me about the idea of
Roger Ebert.
Oh, either one of those guys watching this movie just makes me laugh just to think they sat through this.
It said this was trying. It's better than some of the others. This one was trying.
I agree.
And they said a weird blend of what came before it, and they said, why am I blanking? Gene Roddenberry. No, not Gene Roddenberry. What am I? Bradbury.
Oh, Ray Bradbury. Yes.
Ray Bradbury.
I do see that.
Because of the carnival thing, it does feel like Something Wicked This Way Comes, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I think it's more Tennessee Williams. They actually have that preacher early on.
Oh, yeah.
And he isn't terrible, but he is very much
great,
local. He's probably the best actor of that area.
Yeah.
Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Because he's trying. But he has this thing right at the beginning where like the church is falling into disrepair, and he gets the stranger in town to help him fix it up, and he goes, "I don't even know if I believe in this anymore." And it's supposed to be like this heavy thing, like the preacher doesn't even know if he believes in God anymore. Is that ever touched on again? No.
No, because he's not really.
No,
he's not really a character. Once again, like really.
No, he's not. And so why even give him this sort of wistful thing of like, "Will you help me rebuild this church? I don't know if I even have faith anymore." And you're like, okay.
Yeah, because, I mean, what we'll talk about, I mean, we mentioned the beginning of the movie where the girl's killed with the thing, and then we have, God, this long opening credits with Ian walking through the desert. Jesus!
Yeah, Ian is a Brit. We don't know
Weird choice.
that he is a supernatural character yet.
Yeah.
But he is walking towards a town, maybe, and he's holding stuffed animal.
Yeah.
Did he kill that girl? No.
No, because he's a good werewolf.
Girl.
He's a good werewolf.
He's a good werewolf, and he's apparently tracking a killer.
Yes.
We'll find that.
That
out.
is very much, by the way, your idea for the movie. Well, except your idea is
except where I had like he was an NYPD detective.
Yeah, you had more of a noir werewolf sheen on it, which is better.
Yeah. But yeah, this whole thing of again, in concept, fine. But we do see this guy just like, he's a handsome young stranger holding a teddy bear walking into a town.
I'm not even against the idea of Tennessee Williams play with a werewolf in it. That sounds kind of cool to me.
It does,
but
just don't do it like this, John.
Well, and so we'll see the town here. The town is in trouble because there's a drought that's pushing all the farmers out. We get some dialogue about that between the sheriff and the mayor. The mayor, I knew,
doesn't play into it at all either.
No, none of that. That's all set up. I'm writing all this stuff down at the beginning, going, obviously this is important, and then of course not. Of course, it's not. What am I talking about? Good Lord!
And then you realize how much of your life you've wasted.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, but that happens to be a lot. I was gonna say this mayor actor looked familiar to me, and just looking at his credits, it's just from a bunch of TV guest appearances.
Oh yeah, no, he feels like a TV guy.
Yeah, Cheers and Crime Story and Frasier and Becker and every sitcom.
And here he's a hair slicked back local southern town mayor.
Now, I'm gonna win this here election.
I'm gonna win this election. No one runs against me. Oh, one person is, but he lost a bet.
Yeah,
and you're like, all of this character building is what leads to a slow movie where we're sitting there going, will any of this matter? And the answer is
And
no.
I do love the sheriff seeing Ian across the street that goes, hang on. I got to go hassle this newcomer.
Oh, yeah. It's so automatic. Yeah. Now, sometimes, I mean, this is also a lazy thing. You represent a closed-off, isolated rural community.
It's First
automatically
Blood.
Suspicious of anyone showing up.
Right. It's First Blood. It reminds me of Brian Dennehy going, get out of our town, Rambo.
Yeah, but this is literally the first minutes this guy has wandered into town, and the sheriff is automatically like, I'm gonna give him a hard time.
I know nothing about this guy, but you better get on out of here.
How dare you wander peacefully into our town?
This guy has just walked, literally just has stepped foot on a sidewalk. He's like, God, get him going. And a town,
and then
by the way.
second he talks, he's like, where are you from? And he's like, England, actually. He's like going, oh my God.
It reminds me of one of my favorite lines in Bridesmaids where John Hamm, when he meets Chris O'Dowd, he just goes, that cop talks funny. That's what I thought here, where he just goes, you talk funny, son.
What's up with you and your funny talk?
Yeah, and he goes, oh no, I'm British. And I like the idea of this, like, that's really threatening now. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
A European.
He's an alien.
Jesus Christ. I have never.
He immediately just turns to like, start melting down the silver.
Yeah.
He automatically knows he's a werewolf.
Oh God! And the only British folks around these parts are werewolves. Yeah.
Everybody knows you talk like that, you turn into a wolf.
Yeah. So he's looking at the poster for Harker's Freak Show, which, by the way, I love the IMDb trivia that says the name Harker is based on Jonathan Harker from the novel Dracula, and you're like,
wow.
Yeah, I guess, but also it doesn't mean anything at the same time.
No.
Yes, that's a name associated with the vampire story, but there's no cleverness to using it or anything.
No, and no one at any point tries to connect it. There's nothing like, oh, my parents got involved with a powerful vampire when I was whatever. It's like, no.
Yeah. So Ian goes to the church where they're going to give him board, and it's not even an exchange for fixing it up, because it's later after he's already staying there. He goes, I could fix up this here church.
Yeah, well, yes. And he goes, do you know how to work with wood? And he goes, yes. And then he doesn't, and yet somehow they still manage to perfectly restore the church in a week.
And it's all in this very 80s kind of montage, right? It's like, fixing
and of course,
up a church,
the 80s montage, while the dispirited preacher, who doesn't even know if he believes in this shit anymore, and the Brit, and his virginal, very cute daughter, but
80s
it is that
cute.
kind of montage where they're putting things together, and then, oh God, they actually did the thing. I was like, please don't have a scene where he's bonding with the daughter and he almost paints her face with a paintbrush. And he does. Yeah. Like a boop on the nose with the paintbrush. She's like, oh, you?
Fixing up the house, we're putting it back together. Yeah, it's got that kind of whatever.
You grab a hammer, I'll get some nails. We're gonna put this church together.
It's got that kind of... this was the point in the movie very early on when I'm going, what the hell is this movie?
Yeah,
it's
again,
this like
it's a tone thing
yeah,
where you're like,
yeah.
what is
Gonna
this about?
paint our faces 'cause it's cute. Like, what? What is going
and somehow, this is also bonding between Preacher and Brett, and we're all now very
you also
close.
get the other thing that I thought, because they have the paint thing, you also have the, you boys must be so thirsty, I made y'all some lemonade.
Oh God!
Going,
we do need to bring up that amongst the townspeople, and they do say her name at some point, but I don't remember it. But essentially, Carol Lindley is playing the stereotypical older but still kind of sassy, sexy lady of the town,
Miss Eddington, according to IMDb,
who walks into the general store or stands out on the sidewalk fanning herself. She's fanning herself.
Oh, this is 100% Tennessee Williams character.
Yeah, and she's literally going, "It's just so hot."
Oh, it's so hot.
And Carol Lindley, I always kind of liked. She's very 70s, but I've never heard her do an accent before, and this is literally. It's community theater, Southern Tennessee Williams.
Oh yes, she's in one of my favorites, The Poseidon Adventure.
Of course,
love The Poseidon Adventure.
Listen, there's got to be a morning after.
Look, man, as long as I got preacher Gene Hackman to lead me out of this boat,
I know
that's all that really.
And morbidly obese Shelley Winter saying, "I used to be a championship swimmer."
Oh my god, you. Come on, like you can't not laugh at that. I know this.
I know. I mean, it is gold.
It is. Got Roddy. I mean, what a great cast. Roddy McDowall and Red Buttons and.
Yeah,
it's great stuff. She also
I would rather be talking about the
Poseidon Adventure. I could talk about the Poseidon Adventure all day. I really enjoy that. That's my favorite of the Irwin Allen disasters.
Yeah, because it's actually, even though it is total cheese, schlock. It has such a great cast.
It does.
And some effective action beats.
Did Alan do Towering Inferno? Because I also love that one.
Yes, he did.
Okay, so I do love that one, too. Those are the two.
I'm not a huge fan of that one, but another great cast.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is just McQueen and Newman.
I will say Towering Inferno is the only one that has a murderer in it.
Mm-hmm. OJ.
OJ. The juice is loose.
The juice and the... Oh, yeah. I mean, that whole movie, I keep going, I bet that guy started the fire. Probably to kill his ex-wife.
That's exactly it's like. I heard that she's on the top floor of this building. I'm gonna set it on fire.
No, don't do it, Juice, says Kato Kalin, who's also in the movie.
Oh God, this is dark.
Hey, I've met Kato Kalin weirdly, which is a very strange.
That is strange. That's a weird flex, my friend.
I don't know if it's a flex. It's just an oddity that I have met a man famous for his testimony in a murder. He's basically famous for being friends with a murderer.
And hearing a thump.
Yeah. I think I heard a thump, man. Yeah, met him at a Comic-Con of all places.
Oh, yeah, because of all of his great work in graphic novels.
He was all... We were both moderating panels at a Comic-Con. He was there. They flew him in and paid him to moderate the big celebrity panels.
That is just weird.
Yeah, I don't know what. I was like, dude, I would do it for free. Don't get Kato in here.
But anyway, you're not a name.
That was it, man. It was him. It was okay. Here, I don't want to distract too much, but the moderators were me, Kato Kalin, and Montel Williams. Oh my God. I was doing all the comic book people that nobody cared about. They were doing the celebrity ones.
Kato was doing the celebrities, and Montel was trying to figure out who was actually the daddy of a lot of the guest children.
It
turns out you are the father. No way, Montel!
Strangest room I've ever been in my life was the three of us in that room, and their subsequent. They had people. I didn't have people. They had people with them. They had handlers.
Oh, let me just put that out to our audience because, again, the 4 people that listen to us, what John is saying is he needs people.
Yeah.
If you're willing to be one of John's people for upcoming events and things, reach out to us.
I actually probably needed people more than them because I'm like, what? I have a panel where? I need to go where?
You need at least a person. I'll say that much.
So the church is all fixed up. The town folks are admiring the work, and they're like,
and now they're kind of liking the Brit.
But then they're like,
you know what? You deserve a beer.
And he's like, no, I won't go out with you tonight. And they're like, what? Come on, we insist. He's like, no, I said no.
God.
Cut to him inside, marking days off on his calendar, leading up to the one marked full moon.
Yeah, I know. And you know what I love about this? I love that there's actually a scene in this movie with a very conscientious werewolf who's tracking this. He doesn't want to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
But still in this movie, he goes, oh, no!
His transformation scene is fucking hilarious because he wakes up in the middle of the night, right?
Yeah, he's like, what? Oh, no!
He wakes up in the middle of the night, he walks over to his window and suddenly sees the full moon. He's like, oh, no, wait!
Can I also say, I need to say it, the full moon in this film is literally someone took a Halloween prop.
Yes.
It's larger than a moon has ever been.
When he
even like a harvest moon, it is the biggest motherfucking moon.
When he goes to the window, the moon is taking up the whole window. It's as if the moon has actually come down and is peering in at him through the window.
I can actually, I mean, I did stop it. I paused it, and it's actually a pretty high-res video. I could actually see the American flag from where the astronauts planted it. I was like, Jesus Christ, that moon is huge.
The moon sneaking up on him, really.
Again, I mean, in a stage play, you would do that because it's, you could get away with it being stylized. This is trying to be a real, quote-unquote, werewolf movie. And I'm like, didn't anyone say, that's kind of big?
Yeah. No. Before we get to any of that, because that actually happens later, I actually clocked it. Yeah. It's about 45 minutes into this movie that we get a werewolf. I'm going, it's Howling 6, guys. Let's just open with the wolf, No,
this gives us lots of time, like we mentioned, that we like in like the Stephen King adaptations that work, where we get to know everybody. We get to know, I needed that. I wanted to know these people.
Well, but yeah, as we've talked about, King is good at characters and also good at making that stuff pay off in a way that, like, it matters that you know them or you care when they die.
Well, I will say that we pretty quickly the plot does move like a train because...
What plot?
I know, because pretty much as soon as the church gets repaired, the carnival comes to town.
The carnival comes into town, and we meet Alligator Boy, who's like, gee, I could sure use some work here at this here freak show.
So a guy with a terrible skin condition who's ashamed of it, but still sees it as his one chance to make some money.
Yeah.
Is basically, do you think I have what it takes to be a freak? And the two mean freaks, one of whom is a half man, half woman, and I'm not saying that in
he is literally one half of his body is male and the other half is female.
Yeah, so purposefully mixed gendered, let's say.
I called this person split gender as if they were a Batman villain named Split Gender.
Sure, and this is a classic of freak shows, the half man, half woman.
Yeah, it's not this movie being specifically offensive. It's just the nature of the freak show, which is kind of offensive.
And then which is offensive. But then you have our favorite little person, Deep Roy.
Yep.
Playing, what's his name? Toombs, something?
Toons, I believe, is correct, yes.
But they are so mean.
So mean.
To our new freak, Alligator Boy. But Harker, the leader of the carnival...
Well, you've also forgotten Bellamy, our friend Antonio Fargas.
Who turns out to be the Renfield type here.
And, well, he's the geek show in the...
He's the geek in the thing, but then we also see him... chasing after his scattered roaches and going, my babies.
Yeah, that was unnecessary.
And here's what I'll say. Antonio Fargas, I hope he knew before he passed what a great character actor he was.
Brendan, still alive. Antonio Fargas, yes. Still with us. Still acting.
Well, then I will shut my mouth and praise the Lord because I do love him. And as Huggy Bear, he was always great. But Huggy Bear is only one little thing that guy could do.
Yes, it's
he's
true.
Playing a totally different, weird character, very twitchy, oddly spoken. I was like, I like this character. And like you said, it's like we don't get nearly enough of him.
No, because he's actually interesting to watch. Because, yes, he is a good actor. Continues, and like I said, he was just on Black Lightning. And he's doing guest shots on stuff. He's got 3 movies in either post-production or that are currently filming. So he's still working
in
regularly.
his 80s, right?
How old is he here? Let me see. Antonio.
It's possible he was always younger than he appeared.
75.
Then he definitely was younger than he appeared because, I would have pegged him to be in his mid-30s when he was Huggy Bear, but he must have been in his 20s.
75 and still with us and still working. So love to see it, man.
Yeah, me too. I'm sorry that I've done that often on this podcast, said that people were dead.
R.I.P. to this very much alive guy, yeah.
But so he's like the right-hand man of Harker.
Yeah.
And Harker is a very eloquently spoken...
I actually did always think Bruce Payne would make a good Dracula in like a B kind of movie, but
he looks too American and he looks too blonde.
Okay. I don't think he is American, but
no, but he doesn't look Middle European. He does not have the look I would expect for a Dracula. I think he does make a good vampire. This is the movie he was a vampire.
Because he's got that supervillain quality that he uses again in his finest work as Charles the Reign of Terror Rain in Passenger 57. By the way, his sexy accomplice in that movie, Elizabeth Hurley.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
But my question to you is, John?
Yes.
What would you always bet on?
I'd have to say black, Brendan.
That's a good call.
Yeah. Always bet. One of my favorite action movie one-liners. You ever play roulette? Roulette. Always bet on black. Because the camera also does this great push-in because he's on the phone and he turns into it.
It does.
Always bet on
right
black.
In on him.
Yeah. And you should bet on him because, spoiler alert, Wesley Snipes does end up saving that plane in that movie.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I guess I don't have to watch it. Great, thanks.
Nope. I just saved you it's a very brisk, like 87 minutes too. You can get through.
You know what would have been nice if this movie had been a brisk 87 minutes.
I know. I wish this movie had anywhere close to the pacing of Passenger 57. Good.
Even though I say that this is moderately a better film.
It is not moderate. It is not more watchable, I don't think.
No, really. It is hampered by so many things that we've already mentioned. But it is boring.
Yeah. So they go to see the freak show. Now, the preacher's daughter,
who's clearly already crushing on Ian. And
oh my God.
Likes her too.
But... yes, the actress is not amazing, but my God, the writing of this part is horrible too.
It is, yeah.
Because every line she has is like that. Like it is.
And every line she has is literally, I think my dad's asleep now.
Yeah.
We can go to the freak show. Or I think my dad's asleep now. Make out with me.
No, God damn it, no way!
Don't you understand? I'm cursed. Cursed.
And we're actually doing a better job than the guy does in the movie with that impression. I wish he had that kind of energy.
No, he's very sleepy.
Yeah.
He's a gentle, and that could be a way to do a werewolf.
Yeah.
Be a very gentle guy, but you still have to have some life behind it. And there's nothing there.
Yeah, it doesn't read as an acting choice. It reads as this is all this guy's got.
Yeah, it reads as this is my range.
Yeah. So they go to the freak show at the carnival. We also see Ian hit a bullseye with an arrow, which I think comes back later, does it not?
Yeah, it's like a midway booth where instead of what you'd expect, I've never been at a midway where you fire an arrow.
No, that's dangerous.
That's dangerous. You always have like the water pistol or something, or
the BB gun,
or maybe you're throwing rings, or even a BB gun.
Yeah.
But this is a full-on bow and arrow, and he's like, "Oh, I don't think I have a good aim."
This isn't a
and then of course he hits a bullseye.
This isn't a carnival game. It's just general archery. Like
it's just archery. And I will say, hitting a bullseye, and I've done a little archery in my life. From that distance, anyone could have done that.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing.
He's literally 10 feet from the fucking
I also thought
target.
These things are kind of rigged in reality. This one really is just pure skill.
At the end of the night, they're like, we have no stuffed animals left.
Yeah.
Everybody got a bullseye.
Yeah, that's insane. Yes. Oh, so the alligator boy is upset about this weird costume he has to wear, but of course Harker goes, I think you look amazing, and everyone's going to love you.
Yeah, this actually is a little bit like kind of a Ray Bradbury thing with it's all he's being very poetic about what it means to be a freak, and he's like, no, they're not coming to laugh at you. He goes, they're the freaks. You are coming into your full potential, and you are unique. They are the freaks. You should glory in your uniqueness and all this. So he's trying to bolster his newest freak, and he's like, that sounds good to me. Thank you. I guess I'll wear this and pretend to be an alligator boy.
Gosh darn, I sure am so happy you made me the alligator boy, Mr. Harker.
He literally does sit there going, no, don't you understand? You are beautiful.
By the way, this guy who plays the alligator boy has actually gone on to have a pretty decent career.
Well, I would say that he was decent in this. I mean, it's a stupid small part. He actually gets fairly important towards the end, which is interesting.
He did a lot. I mean, a lot of TV.
Holy shit, he's in the Umbrella Academy.
He was just on the Umbrella Academy. He plays the old version of Five in that show.
Oh my god!
When you see him as an old man, it's this guy. But he was just on. He was on Titans, and he's one of Biff Tannen's gang in Back to the Future.
Oh my god!
He's in Wayne's World.
Good on this dude.
I mean, this guy acts around. It's not like he's like a big star, but he's in a lot of stuff. Character actor, you know.
He played bartender in an episode of Mutant X, which
go.
I know is your favorite superhero show.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I thought it improved on X-Men in a lot of ways.
Anything that comes from Canada and it has at least $80 a episode budget is one of my favorite superhero shows.
I remember that show going, how are they not getting sued calling the show Mutant X?
I know.
Are you kidding me with this?
How can you call something Mutant X and not get sued?
Yeah. Excuse me, the lawyers from Marvel are here.
Turn off the lights. Get under the desk.
Oh, my God. I didn't know. Created by Avi Arad. That's how it didn't get sued.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was the creator of this. Oh, God. With John Shea. I do remember that. Lex Luthor himself, folks.
I did watch it.
I remember seeing a little bit of it, but also just going like, this is crappy X-Men.
Yep.
All right. So back here. So they go and check out the exhibits. And once again, it is 4 freaks in the freak show. So it's a very short freak show.
Yeah. They show... a musical number with the half man, half woman.
Yeah.
I did kind of like the reveal of Deep Roy's character Toons, is that he's playing cards. And you're like, what's freaky about it? Is it just a little dude playing cards?
Yeah.
And then the Harker goes, he's been kicked out of every gambling hall in Asia or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you see that he has a vestigial third arm that sneaks out of his jacket, and it has a hidden ace.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. And then we see Antonio Fargas is the geek, but he's in weird sort of mime makeup doing a
I know when they cut
routine.
to him in that makeup before he does the actual geek show, I was like, what is this guy's deal? He's just gonna do like a bad clown act or something?
And actually he's doing some, even though we love this guy, he's doing some bad mime type stuff, and then picks up a chicken and bites into its throat.
I'm gonna go ahead and guess Fargas didn't have a lot of direction here.
I am going to back you in that as well.
From director Hope Perello, who we haven't talked about.
What's to talk about?
This is the debut feature of. I don't have it. Hope sounds like a woman, but I don't have a gender here. So, but also directed Pet Shop. I don't remember Pet Shop.
You don't?
Oh God! Oh, this looks terrible. It's like a family comedy about aliens and a pet show. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Wow.
That looks terrible. That looks really bad.
Wow.
And then 1997 St. Patrick's Day, which is a drama starring Piper Laurie in 1997.
All right.
Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. But looks like mostly did second unit stuff on a lot of Puppet Master and that kind of stuff, you know.
That's what you expect.
Yeah, supervising production coordinator on From Beyond, which I actually like the movie From Beyond.
The first, From Beyond, and then they kept going with others.
Yes, I mean, a lot of those, the Reanimators, the From Beyonds, the first ones are usually pretty good.
Are those all like Full Moon features, like Charles Band?
I think this person was involved in a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
And then spun that into a very brief directing career. And Kevin Rock, I just like the name. Kevin Rock is the oh shit. Okay.
Okay? Are you going to be all right? Do you need
to
take a break?
I'm sorry. I'm looking at the writer of this movie. This was the first thing he wrote, Kevin Rock.
Yes.
But 3 years later, Brendan, he will write Roger Corman's Fantastic Four. He's the scrrightwriter.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
Yep. Also, he gave us the Philadelphia Experiment 2. I didn't know that even existed.
For one thing, the first one, wasn't a hit.
No.
I just am always amazed at movies that get sequels. You're like, is it just name recognition?
I think my guess with those is always that they must have had some kind of life on video. And then eventually, because it's usually several years later, and they go, "Hey, people rented this." He also is involved in the Warlock franchise, having written Warlock: The Armageddon. I don't know which one, where that fits in the. How many of these damn things are there? 3, 4.
I will say I've only seen the first one.
Same
with
here.
Julian Sands.
Same here, and I like Julian Sands.
Who doesn't like Julian Sands?
Very good, very talented actor. Jesus, he did 4 of these things. Good Lord. Well, I hope he made some good money.
Me too.
The Warlock.
I worry about him. I do worry.
I do worry about the guy. Warlock is another. Those movies are other ones I remember being advertised in the back of comic books.
Yes.
Warlock, Pet Cemetery 2, that kind of stuff. I remember seeing a lot of that. Mm-hmm. And
I remember seeing House 2, the second story, like that. That had ads on the back of comics for a lot of the 80s.
And I remember even...
Did this movie pass already? Why is it still being advertised?
Even as a kid being like, yeah, the third Warlock looks pretty bad. Like, even as like a child reading comics, I'm going, I won't be seeing that.
You know what? I'm going to pass.
Yeah. Even like little kid me is like, this Pet Cemetery 2 seems like a step down. They've really lost the quality here.
Sometimes dead is better again.
Yeah.
What?
Dead is still better. Death is still better. Yeah. I do love that performance in that movie.
Well, look, you're going to put that guy in anything, it's better.
Agreed. And actually,
speaking of which, I saw the trailer for Rob Zombie's Monsters.
I have, yeah. We'll talk off mic about that, or else we're gonna go on like a half-hour tangent here. But yeah, very interesting choices made there.
Do we have to cover that for this podcast? Because it's got Frankenstein's monster.
I think we do, actually. Yeah, okay. I think we do eventually have to get there. I think it's gonna be on Peacock though, so it's easy to watch it. Like, we don't have to go to the theater and see it. Love that theme, man.
It is a great theme.
Love that show, actually. I'm a big fan of the old show.
Me too.
Okay, so they do all this. The split.
They check out the freaks. They're like,
when they see him bite into the chicken is when the preacher's daughter has had enough.
Oh, she can't take it.
Yeah, so they leave.
I love how cheap, and this, by the way, during their walk through this is where we do glimpse Mary Lou briefly, but the whole thing is she's just in the crowd at the circus thing.
Yeah.
But what I love about how cheap this movie is, yes, it is a small town. Yes, a lot of the people have left because of the drought. But at this big debut, Harker is literally walking these 2 people through the freak show.
Yes.
He's the owner of the thing.
Yes.
And he's taking a full-on tour of 2 people through the freak show.
I had the same thought, which is this guy has nothing better to do.
I know. And as he's sitting there going, we're not going to make a lot in this town.
Well, I mean, to be fair, with these 2 people, that's like a quarter of the town.
That is true.
We do see him, as they are leaving the carnival, we see Harker walking with a blonde woman back to his trailer for some business. We will later find out. We will, yeah, you tell me. Speaking of pleasure, apparently the preacher's daughter wasn't turned off enough by the freak show because she comes to Ian's room in a barely, well, actually it's a pretty conservative negligee, but
this movie is compared to the previous house.
I was waiting for the nudity, man. Countdown to nudity.
This is prudish. There's nothing.
Well, even I mean, I have to imagine at a certain point when you're in Howling 6, you're going, yeah, I'm not taking off my clothes in Howling 6. And they go, yeah, fair enough. Howling 2, 3, it still has some legitimacy from that first movie, maybe. But by the time you're in Howling 6, you're going, yeah, no.
But you also imagine that any actors you're going to get for a Howling 6 are like, I'll do whatever because I don't get any work.
But she's got at least a little heat on her from Belvedere, right? Like,
sure, her Belvedere heat.
She's got that Belvedere heat. By the way, one of my favorite setups for a show, the idea that you would buy a house and this butler is just like, oh yeah, you get him too.
Well, based on a long-standing novel series. I mean, the Belvedere thing was radio and books.
Ooh, Mr. Belvedere.
So they didn't invent it for that show.
I just love the premise, though. The idea that you inherit a man.
I just love anything with Bob Uecker. Is he still alive?
Uecker's got to be dead, right?
Oh, I think he is dead.
I think I actually remember Bob Uecker dying.
Well, you wore that armband for like a month.
Oh my God, he's still alive.
Is he really?
Bob Uecker is still with us.
I have
God.
really bad dead dar. Dead dar.
I thought he
really
88 years young. Bob Uecker. Oh my God, good for him, man.
I must be in the front row.
I did really like Bob Uecker. Actually, I have always enjoyed him.
He had a thing that he did that was funny.
I mean, him in Major League is goddamn hilarious, man.
Yeah.
When the ball hits the guy, he goes, and one lucky fan is going home with a souvenir. Just a bit outside as the guy's thrown completely. Oh, my God. Major League, pretty good sports comedy. Once again, stop with the sequels.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't. Major League 2 and then Major League 3 back to the minors. Oh, God. Scott Bakula, what were you doing, man? Bakula's movie career.
What are you doing, man?
The Bakula movie career never took off, and I don't understand.
Likeable guy, but maybe just a TV face.
He and Selleck have that same thing where it's like they couldn't make that jump. And they're both great. I love them, but yeah.
You realize we have gone very far off this movie.
I know. It's very easy to, because this was my experience. Watching this, I had to really pull my brain back towards watching this movie. Especially around this point where I'm going, my God, nothing's happening.
Can I take a werewolf break really quickly?
Let's take a quick werewolf break and get back. I took a few werewolf breaks watching this one. I watched in pieces. So
I watched it all the way through.
Oh no, I had to watch it in pieces.
I just got a message saying that my package was delivered. From NECA.
Ooh.
Remember the thing that you tried to get for me and they sold out of?
Yes.
Flash.
Oh. Savior of the Universe?
Got delivered.
Love it.
He just got delivered.
All right. So you take a werewolf break and go get that. And
I will be right back.
Yeah. All right. Okay, we're back. Brendan has his action figure with him, so that's... Man, I wish Flash Gordon was in this movie.
I wish... I just wish we had a different movie.
Yeah, I know. This one is really tough to talk about. And there's not much plot here because... Even like the him taking the girl to his trailer, we later find out that's the bank manager or the owner of the bank. Yeah. Because there's a farmer going, yeah, been waiting for the... I'm making him a main guy because it's a Stephen King thing in my mind. But
but it is a guy going like...
trying to get my money from the bank.
I can't get my money out of the bank. And they're like, oh, well... Yeah, she'll open up. It's just a little late. And they're like, no?
Oh, that's weird. And then later, the sheriff is also alerted to a slaughtered batch of cows. I guess that was what the werewolf did. Instead of hurting people, he killed these cows. But what I like is they have one slaughtered cow, and then the implication there are more around them, and they keep looking off camera going, all these cows slaughtered, but we can only afford to show you one.
Yeah, I know.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love stuff like that. So let's see. So pretty quickly, Harker... How does Harker know that Ian's a werewolf and all this stuff? Because they capture him instantly.
Well, yeah, I don't know how he knows, but he does say the thing about... he says, you've been following me. Or like...
Well, because when he was at the freak shows, right, he does have something he goes where it's like, I know that face from somewhere.
Yeah, I know that face from somewhere, right.
But then they capture him. And then he's got a magic crystal that when he says a certain incantation, turns him into a wolf without the full moon.
Oh, God. This is so... Man. So there's a... All right. So in this movie, yes, full moons. We get that.
Yeah,
we get Silver Bullet.
Yeah.
But this is also about, apparently, somehow the vampire... we don't know he's a vampire yet. He's just he's Harker, runs the creep show. But he has a crystal
Yeah.
And it literally looks like the kind of crystal you get at any new age store.
Yes.
And
yeah. It looks cheap, man. Yeah.
Yes. And then he literally sits there and recites some thing, and it causes Ian to turn into a werewolf.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't get it. But now he's going to capture him and force him to be in the freak show as a werewolf.
Yep.
And so
we've also seen that Ian, by the way, has a dossier. He has been tracking Harker.
Yes.
He's after him.
Yes.
So he has a dossier of Harker's trips and then missing dead people and all that.
And as he's in this cage, I like he goes, keep me here or not, you'll die either way, Harker. I'm going, yeah. Okay, sure. I mean, at this point, we don't know Harker's a vampire. We just know he's evil.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the sheriff is alerted that they've captured this guy. Like, the preacher's daughter's going, like, they're holding Ian. And then when they see him transform into a werewolf, I like that everybody goes, I'd better off in that cage. That's what I say. And this is when the preacher starts he's the devil. The devil, I tells you.
It's like a quick turn is that since everyone has seen Ian almost werewolf out, they've seen him undergo a transformation. Now, we liked that guy, but we saw what happened to those cattle, and we see that Harker has been able to turn him into some kind of beastie dude. And so they go, well, he's evil now.
Yeah.
Even though I liked him before, now he's evil. He belongs in that cage.
But what about the fun?
Is okay with essentially a man being enslaved and put in a cage.
Yeah.
With no.
I was waiting for somebody to go, but what about that fun music montage of fixing up the church? Have we forgotten?
What about when I booped you on the nose with that?
Oh, so cute.
Except for she never.
Because she's going. You've got to arrest. She goes to the sheriff and goes, "You've got to arrest Harker. He's kidnapped Ian and holding him." And the sheriff's like, "Well, now hold on a second. Let's sort this stuff out." Yeah. So anyway, he's he goes, you know what? He's a freak. Yeah, let him fucking rot. Not my problem. Not my problem.
And also, it's not about we've captured this guy and now we should get out of town.
Yeah.
Instead, like, no, we're still in town for a few days. So all these people that have bonded with Ian over the last week or two are still coming to the freak show. And now the guy that they had a beer with is in a cage. And they're like, let's watch that guy.
All because there's a weird throwaway thing, once again, that I think is keeping them there to some extent. Is we do see the mayor negotiate some deal to have a part ownership in the carnival. Nothing comes of that.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't understand. Again, if you're going to build a subplot, you really do have to thread it through. It can't just pop up, make no sense, and then not pay off. But there is some sort of Faustian bargain between Harker and the mayor. And you're like, what? What?
You gotta pick a plot movie. You've got to settle on a plot. Like, I don't know. They just keep introducing the beginnings of plot threads and then doing nothing with them.
Yeah. And
it's very bad. This movie's bad, you guys.
At one point, the sheriff does start doing detective work
because he has the scrapbook that Ian has put together of the killings. Right.
But he also found in the dirt around the carnival or something, he found the little anklet or bracelet that Carol Lindley's character had.
Yes.
And then he's like, wait, she has disappeared. And then he finds her body in the dumpster.
In a dumpster. Oh my God. I couldn't believe this. She's just, I mean, what?
They just, and we actually saw, I think, didn't we see half man, half woman, and Toombs. Dump her in the dumpster.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus,
well, and then so he finds her
lazy vampire work.
Well, they even say that because he finds her in the dumpster, and then Harker's just suddenly there. He goes, "Oh, I guess my compatriots didn't do a good enough job disposing of her."
So just when the sheriff is seeming like he's going to be an important part of the plot because he has put some pieces together, he's killed instantly.
Yeah, because he goes, "Hang on there, pal. You're under arrest," as he pulls a gun out. And then, of course, this is where we see Bruce Payne turn into a vampire and bite his neck.
Yeah.
And this is the point where I'm going, oh, wait, they're doing vampire? I mean, It's the one moment where I thought, oh, that's some evolution for the Howling franchise. They've now introduced vampires into this world. Okay. And then everyone in the town goes, I haven't seen the sheriff around in a while. Let's go check his office. And there he is, ripped limb from limb in the... Like, whoa! Oh, doggy! Must have been that werewolf. And so now we got to get the angry mob.
There's a, like, after Ian gets captured, also, like, there must be a Kinko's somewhere in this town, because instantly Harker's put up new flyers around the town that are still Harker's whatever Hall of Horrors, and it says werewolf. And I think it's the mayor or the sheriff pulls that down and just looks at it and goes, werewolf, huh? Which I think actually should have been the slogan of the entire Howling series.
Huh.
Because it's delivered just like that. It's just like, werewolf.
Well, because the preacher comes in here, he's like, I told you.
He's of the devil.
Yeah. And so, the preacher's daughter, though, then goes to Ian and lets him out of his cage so that he can run off. So he escapes. Now everybody's gonna mob up.
Yep.
And we'll turn this into a Universal movie. Although, once again, a mob of about 6 people.
There's not a lot of people left in town.
Meanwhile, the mayor goes to Harker's trailer to talk business with him, I guess.
Yeah.
And then he's like, what's this dirt? That's weird. And can I say, I laughed so hard at the idea that the coffin of this vampire is just like the couch that has storage underneath, and it lifts up, and that's where he's sleeping because he's got the dirt.
It's the kind of thing you would see in a mobile home.
Yes, it's a classic thing. It's a very 70s, but like my grandparents had furniture like this too, right? Like the thing
Count Yorga could have told this guy something about how to live swanky.
I know. I just love that. And he goes, there's dirt, and of course there's worms crawling around the dirt.
Yeah.
And does this guy even have context for what he's found? He's just like,
No, that's true. At this point, I mean, it's not, the word vampire hasn't entered this guy's consciousness, but he has found dirt and worms, and he is instantly terrified.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. And then, but of course, immediately Harker shows up. And we cut to the outside of the trailer as he jams the mayor up through the roof and out the top of the trailer.
That was kind of good.
That's probably as good of a monster kill as you'll get in this movie.
Yeah, that's about all you get. But
and that would be like a C+ kill in any other movie. Like
here's where, if this movie had been good and had established its context and story well enough, we would be like, oh boy, here we go, vampire versus werewolf. And it just is. The last 20 minutes of this where they do fight is so boring.
Because they set this up with the preacher's daughter going, you gotta get out of town. He goes, no, I have to destroy him. It is my mission. I have
to finish this.
Yeah, I must face Harker and end his madness. And once again, that's like a scene out of a movie we would like, of a werewolf going, the vampire must be destroyed, And I'm like, oh, cool.
And we've seen, by the way, at this point, we've seen the vampire makeup. So as good an acting job as our friend has done, now he's totally eclipsed in, okay, the werewolf makeup looks like amateurish and shoddy. This doesn't look amateurish. It's just a weird take.
Yeah.
Like it's sort of Nosferatu-esque, bald, pointy-eared, big aquiline nose, all that sort of thing. But they've added like extra skull in the back, so it has a sort of jutting skull.
Yeah.
And it's purple.
Well, that's one of the things I love is I was just looking through IMDb user reviews, and somebody just goes, there are no actual werewolves in this. The hero turns into some kind of wolf man, and the bad guy's a purple thing.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, Ivan Ooze in the Power Rangers movie looks more threatening than this guy.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it is. It's
Paul
bad
Freeman
all around, but the werewolf takes the cake.
God, I remember as an adult figuring out that the guy who played Ivan Ooze was the same guy who played Belloc in Raiders, and going, Jesus Christ, man.
Once again, Dr. Jones, you see, there's nothing that you can possess that I cannot take away from you.
Yeah. Now, hey, kids, Ivanhoe's here.
Oh, boy.
And then there's Jackie Mason bad guy that he plays in that.
Oh, boy. Well, you know what? That paid for his summer house.
Hey, man, I saw that opening weekend as a kid. Psyched out of my mind for Power Rangers the movie.
Guess what totally missed me? Power Rangers.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I was aware of it.
The
you
generational.
Couldn't not be.
Yeah, and especially as a superhero fan, it was in that realm. But yeah, I as an adult, it's a tough watch.
I watched Inspector Man and Johnny Sacco and his flying robot. I watched plenty of Japanese shows with kids and giant kaiju and robots.
I was the perfect age for it. You can tell both Gorgoni and I were all about Power Rangers as kids.
Oh my god!
It was our obsession.
I don't
we
judge
had all
you.
the toys. I mean, we were kids. Once again, we were obsessed though.
All right. Okay.
Watching it as an adult, though, which I have done some in the quarantine.
John, can I ask you, what Ranger did you think you would be?
Well, I mean, obviously, like a lot of kids, I loved the Green Ranger the best, because he was the Han Solo Ranger, right? He was the bad boy.
Well, that's, again, you would imagine which one I would like to be.
The Red Ranger?
Yeah, noble leader.
Noble leader, pure of heart. And I like the guy who was like, I don't play by your rules. I always like the Wolverine, the Han Solo, the
Didn't they make the falling out between Rebel Green Ranger at like the point of one of the movies? Like it actually was the plot.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know if it was a movie, but there was a 5-parter on the show with the Green Ranger. And
then the Black Ranger came. I don't know.
Well,
Who cares?
The Green Ranger became the White Ranger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
but there was a Black Ranger.
Yeah, but there was a Black Ranger from the start. You know why? Because he was the black guy.
Right.
It does
and an Asian woman
was the Yellow Ranger, which they have in retrospect. The producers of that show said maybe not a great call.
I will say that I was slightly familiar with it because I liked what's her name who was on Felicity, and she was
Amy Jo Johnson. She was the Pink
Amy
Ranger.
Jo Johnson.
Oh, talk about one of my first and greatest celebrity crushes as a kid. Was
she's a fan of this podcast. Give her a shout out.
Yeah, Amy Jo was so. Let's see. Anyway,
back to this crappy movie. All right, so
they fight. As the mob,
we got to say, he's fighting the vampire as Ian because there's no full moon.
Right.
He's trying to. He knows he's a vampire, so he keeps trying to kind of like stab him with things.
But then Alligator Boy,
who has bonded with Ian. And Ian also saved his cat. Oh, God. All right, I will say this. I'm backing up slightly just to throw this in.
Yes, yeah.
There was a subplot with Alligator Boy and a kitten that he is going to be his best friend. And then when Harker makes Ian turn into the werewolf, he throws Alligator Boy's kitten to him. And you're like, oh no, the werewolf is going to eat the cat, but the werewolf is still Ian on the inside.
That's the weirdest thing about the transformation stuff is like he turns into a quote unquote wolf, but he doesn't seem to lose his humanity fully or anything like that.
No, not fully. There's still a vestige.
Well, because he's not killing people.
Back to Alligator Boy,
and he's killing cows, not people.
The werewolf looks like they gave him a muscle suit. They gave him werewolf arms that are hairy and claw hands. But then the face, as we've said, is not really that far off of human, but with some garish eye makeup.
Really bad stuff,
Topped with a fucking black wig. Like a long... If you were going to play a heavy metal rocker in a cheap movie.
It just hit me what he looks like. I said Hunchback earlier, but that's not right. It's the silent movie Frankenstein monster.
Oh yeah,
that's what he looks like.
Edison's Frankenstein.
It looks like that. That's what it looks like.
Does.
Yeah, where it's really heavy, dark eyes, and he's got the big fur coat and that is essentially what he's got here with the werewolf body. Because they pad out the body and they put hair on his arms. That's about as much. So Alligator Boy turns him into a werewolf with the crystal, but then Harker kills Alligator Boy for it.
Alligator Boy had watched the performance, so he knows the chant. He gets the crystal from Harker Vampire, Purple Harker, and he saves the day by turning Ian into the werewolf. It'd be nice if Ian knew this trick. Like, maybe he could have just done it himself. But he turns Harker into the werewolf. Ian into the werewolf. And then, yes, Harker kills Alligator Boy. No, he doesn't kill him.
Well, he tries to kill him, let's say.
He tries to kill him. He hurts him because let's not forget the ending of this movie that had me going, what?
Yeah.
Anyway,
but in the time that turns Harker away from the fight, so Ian is able to get a wooden stake, vampire.
Yep.
And then we get this struggle, the classic thing where he's bringing it down and Harker's trying to stop him, and he's able to stab him, not in the heart, more in the clavicle kind of area.
Yep.
Upper chest.
And they show Purple Vampire Guy like this hasn't killed him, but he's prone and he's like fighting with the stake, like, get out of me. Ow, ow.
It's like it's weighing him down. He's pinned to the floor.
And meanwhile, Ian Werewolf finally makes good on the promise of all the posters of the Howling so far.
Howling.
Because he reaches up and tears the cloth of the circus tent with his claws, which is like the posters. He rends the cloth, which lets the sunlight in because, again, Harker just forgot what time it was.
Yeah, it was definitely night when they started fighting. They've been fighting for about 5 hours.
Yes. And when the sunlight hits him, he starts to, in a protracted sequence.
Oh my god, this looks so bad. Because, like, it's all dry. Like, the blood is just like red dust. It doesn't look right at all. They're
doing something where what I think they did was they dressed like a skeleton with some stuff, and then they blew it off with dust and stuff mixed in to make it look like he's decaying. But they also sped it up because I think the actual process looked slow and boring. So it's sped up film. That's all right.
We've seen that effect used like in Hammer stuff, and it's been okay.
But my favorite thing, and someone else on IMDb caught it too, it's in their goofs. With the last thing that goes is the skull, right? So the skull starts to cave in, and flesh is flying off, like dusty flesh. And you actually see, they don't even bother to hide it. There is a little mini fan, like you would have had attached to your pith helmet, like a solar fan. You can see it whirring on the inside of the skull, blowing the skin off of it. And you're like, good Lord, people.
Man.
Good Lord.
Man, I mean, they just didn't care on this
Was this made by college students?
Yeah, they did not care at all in this film.
They didn't.
They didn't. And then, so then Ian changes back. And then, does he go and kiss Preacher's daughter? No. Instead, he picks up Alligator Boy.
He picks up Alligator Boy, who's literally, you expect a Monty Python of him going, I'm quite dead.
Right, yeah.
Because he lifts him as if it's the end of Officer and a Gentleman.
Love lifts us up where we belong.
He picks up Alligator Boy and walks out into, like, the sunrise, and it's kind of like that's it. He and Alligator Boy go off into the sunset or the sunrise.
I know. Like they had a couple scenes together, but I'm going, when was this like the most important relationship in the movie?
And I will say, I feel bad for whatever the daughter's name, because she never gets it.
Nope.
She was so willing to give it up, and she never gets it.
Only he has like a vision of them having sex, and then thinks better of it. That was weird. Weird choice. So he and the Alligator Boy, I guess, are going to be very happy together.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell this ending is.
I thought maybe
Howling 7 is a buddy comedy with these two, maybe.
I thought that would be like if it was something where he's very near death and he just wants to lay him down somewhere comfortable or whatever. But no, it literally looks like they're walking off down the road, like, you and me, buddy.
Yeah.
That's the end of the fucking movie.
I want the midnight cow. Everybody's talking about me.
Yeah. So the werewolf survives. I don't think Ian shows up in the next movie.
I don't think
Lou does.
Yeah, I think it seems to me like the next movie is Clive Turner's like, finally back to my continuity, and I will acknowledge this one happened, but we're gonna move past it and get back on track for New Moon Rising, which is the first time that we have Oh God. Like I said, we've got writer, director, producer, editor, and star Clive Turner.
Holy fuck.
That's right. He's taking a lead role in this one. So,
well, we've already seen how good he is at being a truck driver.
Yeah.
And we've seen how good he was as a, what was he in the
was
one
he
after?
The historian?
Something like that. He had a much bigger part.
He was a professor of some sort, I think, in that one. And now I believe he will be our werewolf come next movie. So
I can't wait.
Yeah, God, hopefully he has some kind of graphic sex scene he wrote for himself to direct.
Oh, no, yeah, real Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah, just giving it to Mary Lou.
Put me at some ease. How far away is that one in our schedule?
It's a while because that's 95, so it's 4 years in actual time, and we have quite a few movies before we get there.
Okay, good.
But don't lull yourself into too false a sense of security, because next week on the show we start the new ever ongoing franchise, Brendan. That's right, next week it's Subspecies.
And you're out there asking, why are they doing Subspecies? And we're going to say, because it's kind of vampires?
Yeah, I watched the trailer for. I've never seen these movies. I did watch the trailer. It looks pretty vampire-y.
Yeah, it is. But I think it is like we're trying to do a modern Clive Barker-ish version of vampires.
It did look very Clive Barker-y. I will say that.
And we are. I mean, we did The Hunger, which of course is a very off-brand vampire movie. So Subspecies is. We can do it.
Can I say we don't do this on this show. But we do over on the Action Shelf. I read the tagline, and I will say I love the tagline for Subspecies is "The night has fangs."
Sure,
pretty good actually.
Also, "The night has 1,000 eyes," but that's an old song.
But can I also say, happy 83 minutes. Whew.
Oh, that'll be nice.
Oh, that's gonna be brisk. But can we bring up the real reason we're doing this and who's to blame? Because our friend and frequent guest on the show, Elliot Lewis, is the one who pointed me towards this franchise. And also, I said, I will only do this if you come on for the first Subspecies episode. So Elliot will be back with us next week to work our way through.
I do look forward to Elliot.
Subspecies.
They're always great to have.
Yeah, they are a fan favorite on this show for sure.
And what's great will be having someone to blame.
Yes. Yeah.
So if it turns out to be a total shit pie,
well, I have a feeling like a lot of these, the first one might be kind of schlocky fun, and then we'll start getting pissed.
I think you're.
That's going to be my guess. Is by the time we're at Subspecies 4, we're going to be like, Jesus
Elliot
Christ.
has only agreed to show up for the first.
Oh yeah. I could not get them to commit to the whole franchise. Oh God. No. Oh, Brendan, there's 5 of them. Why?
Jeez.
Why are there 5 of them? Oh, I'm sorry. The 5th one is being made currently. So.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, so that one we can get when it's released.
That's a few seasons away.
Yeah. Well, that'll be a new movie review for us. Jesus Christ. So Elliot will be back with us next week to talk about Subspecies.
Don't watch Howling 6.
Don't watch Howling 6, no.
Don't watch Howlings 2 through 6. We can all agree on that.
Well, I think, if there's one lesson here, it's just watch The Howling.
Yeah.
And then stop. Watch The Howling.
Get the soundtrack to Halloween 2.
In the cold, cold night, the cold, cold night of the soul. There's a hunger inside. Isn't there something like that?
Oh, you did get it, didn't you?
It is something like that.
You probably did download that to your
I actually
iTunes.
like the song. I do like the song. I'm a fan of that kind of music. That sort of, we talked about very Oingo Boingo knockoff kind of stuff.
Yes, trying very hard.
Very hard. Even the guy in the thing.
Orange-haired lead singer.
Yeah, I was going to say, the guy is even trying to look like Danny Elfman. So, anyway, join us next week for the beginning of Subspecies. And before we get used to talking shit about that. We'll be back next week with that. But that's going to do it for this week's episode of Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters. I'm John Campbell.
I'm Brendan Jones.
And remember, there are such things as monsters.
Yeah, I got nothing. This thing kills me. How long was this movie, John? Like 2.5 hours?
Hour 40.
God, it hurt.